The artist Michelangelo is widely considered to be one of the most influential artists of all time. He was considered one of the most successful living artists of his time, and influenced the future of Western art. It is possible to see Michelangelo's works throughout Italy, but most notably, the Sistine Chapel at the Vatican City is one of the most notable examples of his work. Here are 10 interesting Michelangelo facts that will leave you speechless. Number 1. Michelangelo didn't get married. Although Michelangelo is not known for writing love letters or sonnets, it is known that he had a love life and is known to have written them. Most of his passionate love poems, it has been revealed, were written to young men for whom he felt passionate love and devotion. There is no doubt that Michelangelo felt some sort of attraction towards Tommaso dei Cavalieri, as he sent a great deal of romantic correspondence to him. It was discovered later in Michelangelo's life that he had been writing sonnets to Vittoria Colonna, a widow. In addition to being a poet, Colonna wrote sonnets with him throughout their lives. Number 2. First to publish a biography in his own lifetime. While Michelangelo was alive, there were 2 opposing biographies about him. The first biography of Michelangelo was published by the painter and architect, Giorgio Vasari. Michelangelo's biography was part of a collection of biographies of artists living around 1550. At the time of its publication, Michelangelo was the only artist still alive. The chapter on Michelangelo did not impress him, therefore, he had his assistant Ascanio Condivi write a new book. It is assumed that Michelangelo wanted to be portrayed this way when Condivi wrote this short biography in 1553. Number 3. The poet Michelangelo. It is generally thought that Michelangelo was most famous for his sculptures, as well as the Sistine Chapel paintings, but he was also an accomplished writer. The creative writing ability of him can be seen in around a few hundred to 500 poems that still exist today. Several hundred sonnets and madrigals are believed to have been written by him during his lifetime. Romance and intimacy were themes that ran throughout his writings. In addition, he discussed the process of aging. The poems and sonnets Michelangelo wrote during his lifetime were never formally published. Even so, 16th-century literati seem to enjoy the rare copy that did circulate. Number 4. Sistine Chapel commission was part of a sabotage plot. Michelangelo was renowned for his sculptures when he was chosen to paint the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Michelangelo was chosen by Pope Julius as a result of a recommendation from Raphael, another Renaissance artist. It was Raphael's intention to destroy Michelangelo's career by advancing him. He recommended Michelangelo, knowing that painting was not his specialty, with the hope that the experience would be disastrous, and this would destroy Michelangelo's career. Number 5. The Florence walls were designed by Michelangelo. Fortifications of Florence was one of the projects Michelangelo had the chance to design during his lifetime, since he was passionate about the city where he was born. Expulsion of the ruling Medici family took place in 1527, and the dominion transferred to the Republican government. It was proposed that Michelangelo become the director of the city's fortifications. Michelangelo studied other Italian cities for inspiration while sketching the city walls. Number 6. Michelangelo's inclusion in the Sistine Chapel painting. A written signature by Michelangelo has only ever been found on one piece of artwork. The signature was found on the first masterpiece he created, that is, Pieta. Despite its fine craftsmanship and the artist's young age, people were unable to identify his work, so he engraved his name on Virgin Mary's sash. His signature became an integral part of the artwork from this point forward. One of the most famous self-portraits is in the Last Judgment fresco in the Sistine Chapel. In Michelangelo's self-portrait, which St. Bartholomew holds in his hand, Michelangelo appears to be posing on his own shredded skin. Number 7. Throughout his life, Michelangelo lived like a pauper. Despite his wealth, Michelangelo led a modest life. Even though he was one of the world's most famous sculptors and painters, he lived a poverty-stricken life. When Condivi was an apprentice, he once said, "However rich I may have been, "I have always lived like a poor man." According to Michelangelo, he didn't find joy in food or drink, as he ate because he had to. Michelangelo is said to have slept in the clothes and shoes he wore. The fact that he chose not to live a luxurious life shows that, although he earned well, he wasn't interested in enjoying it. Number 8. A discarded stone was used for the statue of David. The sculptures that Michelangelo crafted in marble are world-renowned for their beauty and the way he selected his materials. As part of his commitment to ensuring the sculpture's durability, he carefully selected every piece of marble. A discarded marble slab, however, was used to carve the world-famous David statue. Having been exposed to the elements for decades, the slab had already received chisel marks. Michelangelo did not let this stop him from carving a 17-foot statue of David. On September 13, 1501, he began working on the statue of David, a 3-year project. Number 9. Michelangelo worked for 9 popes. Over the span of his 70-year career, Michelangelo received countless commissions. He worked on both private and public pieces with 9 popes throughout his career. Painting the Sistine Chapel and carving ornamental bed knobs for popes were among Michelangelo's large-scale projects. Pope Julius II commissioned him in his first appointment, and Pope Pius IV commissioned him his last. Number 10. Working when he died. As an artist, Michelangelo dedicated his time to his work and was passionate about it. Therefore, his capacity to manage and oversee projects that he had been assigned could still be accessed even when he was unable to paint on site. It should come as no surprise that he died wealthy, following his hard work. Based on his biography, it seems he was satisfied with living a simple life and working from home until he passed away. At the age of 88, he died on February 18, 1564, which was a very old age for the time.